So today for the family, I'm doing some gumbo greens. It is my first time cooking them, so I'm just kind of experimenting and seeing how they turn out. But first, what I want to do is get my greens here trimmed up. Get to take the vines out of my greens. Get those out of there, and then get those cleaned while I make my roux and mix up everything. So yesterday I smoked some chicken because that's what's going inside here. Is some sausages. I got these are beef sausages. Smoked them yesterday, and then I got some chicken legs. I usually use chicken thighs, but all I had in the freezer was legs, so legs it is. But as you can see, they're house smoked already. So I'm gonna take those off the bone, get all of my stuff prepped up here, cut up my sausages, get my greens prepped up. I'm gonna just take them off the ribs, real simple. Run my knife down on each side. Boom. Right. I'm gonna do that to all of these greens, and then I'm gonna get started on the other stuff. Got my seasonings out already, but roll them up. I'm not looking for perfect dices and all of that right there. Just looking for. I'm gonna go down the center here because that's that tip. But yeah, I'm not looking for perfect. Just you see, that's about the size that I want my ribbons to be. Once they cook down, that's gonna be real tender and easy. Now, here is one of my secrets to my roux. You know what that is? That is smoked beef tallow. I do a lot of brisket. So what I do is I take that fat and I put it inside a separate pan and I smoke it. And that is what I use, and I save that. I clean it out, clear it out. I'm in the process of clearing out this here. You can see some of the little sediment and stuff down in the bottom. But I'm going to use that. That's fresh beef tallow I was just doing the other day. So I'm going to use that for my roux for these greens. So as you see, it's going to be a lot of flavor inside here. And my roux is just equal parts or, you know, something close to equal parts. Add in that, your flour, and then this go here. This the part here gonna take a little bit of time to get it done. I take my whisk and I whisk it in. Now another thing that I do try to do is when I'm making a roux, I use more oil than flour. It's supposed a lot of them say use equal parts. I don't necessarily use equal parts just because I think when you add a little bit more oil than flour, it tends to turn out a whole lot better. It burns a whole lot less. You have less of a chance of burning it. So I do use a good amount, but I always make sure I have just slightly more oil than I do of the flour. This here gonna take a little while, so I'll see y'all in a minute. All right, so now it's been about 30 minutes or so, and my roux is looking pretty good. You see that? It's nice and smooth. It's a chocolatey cover. I'm not really going for a very dark roux. I'm just going for just where it's at right now. Now I'm gonna add my vegetables, and that's gonna stop the cooking on the roux. It's gonna start softening up the vegetables a bit. That's just my onions and my peppers. Not gonna add the garlic just yet because I want the cooking on the roux to stop completely before I do that because I want the full flavor of the roux and of the garlic and everything that I'm gonna add into here. Oh, I'm just gonna add all of my vegetables, and I'm gonna give it a good stir and let that kind of meld together. Once this calms down a little bit, I'm gonna start adding my seasonings because I'm gonna add my seasonings before I add uh, all the other stuff, the meat and the greens and the broth and all of that. But you see that looks absolutely wonderful. That's what I'm looking for. That should have some good thickening power, and it should last a decent amount of the cook time. Now, one thing I am going to do is I smoked the sausages yesterday. However, after I sliced them up, I do like for them to have a little bit of color on them. So I'm going to brown those up just a tank, just a little bit, not a whole lot. I'm going to brown those up and get those ready before they go inside there. Just because I like that. The chicken is going to go in just like it is. But that sausage, I like that look. To me, it just makes the food look a whole lot better when you do that. So that's what I'm getting ready to do now is right here's a good time to add my chicken because it's actually going to go pretty fast now. That's the smoked chicken from yesterday. All right, I think that's good color on that sausage. See, like I said I'm just looking for a little bit of color, and we're gonna dump all of that down inside there. The grease, everything that came with it is going in. In fact, let me go from the whisk here, and then switch over to the spoon or the something. Give me a little bit of balance on all of that. Now we're gonna go garlic, and I'm going heavy on the garlic because that's how I like it. I'm gonna go black pepper. I do want this to have some nice kick to it, so that's gonna be a little bit heavy. And use whatever your favorite brand of Cajun seasoning is. Mine is McCormick right now, so that's what I'm using. We're not using a bunch of salt, and I'm using as much salt-free stuff as I can. Uh, got a little bit of crushed red pepper. Now, usually in most Cajun seasonings, there's going to be some red pepper in there, so adjust that accordingly to your particular taste buds. And I'm going to use beef base. This also has a lot of salt in it, so I'm not going to use a whole lot of this. I'll probably adjust that a little bit later on. I'm just going to use 1 tablespoon right now, but I may add more after I add my water and kind of see how things uh, tasting. I'm gonna taste the broth before I add my greens to it because I want that's pretty much the basis of the whole dish is that it's going to taste pretty much like a gumbo with all the gumbo flavors. We're just adding greens. I'm adding hot water to this, and now we're gonna turn that eye back on. We're gonna watch for how thick it actually gets because this is gonna cook for a while. Uh, I'm estimating maybe about an hour because I'm using collards. So the collards is gonna take a minute to cook to exactly where I want. I'm gonna check them after about 30 minutes, but for my liking, it's usually closer to an hour, and that's what I know. Like I said, this is the first time I've ever made this dish. But right there, boy, you can put that over some rice and just have at it. That like, oh my God, that looks so good. That's good, but I am gonna add just a little bit more of another tablespoon of the beef broth to that. Okay. Now, we always have to remember to taste, taste, taste. If you don't like the taste of it, keep working until you get it perfect to your taste buds. If you don't like how it tastes, nobody else is either. Oh yeah, that's the magic right there. Got a nice little spice to it. It's not overly spicy, but just right, just for me anyway. The sausage is looking good. The chicken looking good. Got a deep smoked beef flavor to it. And the greens have been washed, rinsed. And we just gonna stuff them down in there. They gonna wilt down. And we just gonna stuff them down inside there. No green left behind. Yeah, this here got so much flavor in it that you literally don't have to add anything else to this. Just let the broth soak into the greens, let the green give off whatever juice it's gonna give off, and let these flavors meal together. The greens are gonna cook, and they ready to simmer. Ooh wee! Oh my God, Lord have mercy. Look at that.
What if I pay for it with my own money? Huh? The money you gonna give me for my tooth? The tooth is for no, like last time, remember when I leave that? No, Miss Paula. What, he, not.
Okay. All right. You know what it is.
Yes. A fat chicken? Really? Really? I'm thirsty.